Hi everyone, this is Ram, your leadership coach. In 2016, I pivoted my career towards becoming a leadership coach. And when I started this journey of mine, there's only one objective that I had in my mind, that is to help leaders successfully navigate their career progress and layoffs. In my career, I was personally involved. I have seen several restructurings and I was personally involved in many layoffs. And those events are the ones which have influenced me to become a leadership coach. Because it's not a happy event and it's not an event which is to be talked of. But and because of that, I have decided to become a leadership coach. I wanted to help leaders, to successfully navigate the career progress and navigate layoffs. Uh, I have been working since then with various organizations, but unfortunately, this current event of layoffs that are happening made me realize that my impact is being very limited to the people that I'm working with, and I'm not able to share the knowledge and information with a larger audience. And that's the reason why I have decided to take this social media route to come in front of you. Over the next over the next couple of weeks and months, I would be regularly sharing lots of information and content. I'm sure that would be of great help to each and every one of you. And if you find that the content is not relevant for you, but if you think that content can help someone else, please do not hesitate but share the content with the people who can benefit out of it. Uh, with for the people who are going through this event of layoff, the best thing that someone can do at this particular point of time is to offer you a job or connect you with someone uh, who can offer you a job. But unfortunately, I'm not in either of the positions, but I can do the third best thing, that is help you with tools and techniques and mechanisms that can help you navigate through the process of this whole event with a very positive perspective. Saying that, without any further delay, let me share my screen and the take you through the techniques, the mechanisms, and the tools. Let me just share my screen. The topic, as I was saying, for today is navigating layoffs with a positive perspective and the tools and techniques that can help you navigate through this process. The first and the most important thing that you have to remember is that I would actually want you to answer this question. I would want you to answer this question as to 5 years from today, would this event even matter in your life? So, 5 years from today, how do you want to remember this event? Do you want to remember this event as an event that has propelled your career in a upward trajectory in a positive manner towards success, or as an event that has pushed your career in a downward spiral? What choice do you want to make? How do you want to see this event 5 years from today? I would want you to take out time, think, and tick it off as a choice that you're making, that you want to see this as an event that has helped to propel your career in a positive upward trajectory towards success. As William Shakespeare once said, that nothing is either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And that's the reason why, if you remember in the previous slide, I have been using the word event. I have I have thoughtfully chosen the word event because it's just an event. It is our perspective towards the event which is making us label it as good or bad. We are perceiving it as something which is happening against our wish, against our current wants. And that's the reason why we are saying it is something which is bad. But if you do not put any of this perception towards it, it's just an event that has happened. But saying that once you start feeling that it is a bad event that has happened to us, we have already entered into a negative state of mind, and then it becomes really difficult for us to get out of that. And here comes the tool number one, which is for you to remember that at any given point of time, both good and bad are happening at the same time. They are the two sides of a same coin. So when you know that they both are two sides of a same coin, when you are seeing good, but at the same time, there is a bad on the right behind it, and which is getting overpowered. It's being shadowed by the bad that you're seeing. So now I would want you to think, turn the coin around and look at the good and answer this question as to what good is happening to you because of this event. Because you have been thinking all the bad that is happening to you because of this event. I want you to flip the coin and think and list down as many as possible good that is happening to you because of this event. It is not easy. It is difficult. It is very, very difficult to shift your mind, but that is what is needed in this particular moment for you to not looking at bad, but to start looking at good that is happening to you and list down all the good that is happening to you in this particular moment. So if you would want me to take an example for this can be like, this has given me time, the most valuable of all, the, the time to start working on my dream project that I have been pushing for later. Or, it's given me time to start educating myself on things how that are evolving in the market. Or it can be, it has given me time to spend with my growing children. So I would want you to think and list down as many good that are happening to you at this particular point of time. List down minimum 10. If you can list more than 10, nothing like it, but list minimum 10. And keep this list handy. Read it whenever you hear the chatter in your mind that something bad or something wrong has happened to you. Keep this list and keep reading through it as to what all good that is happening, because that is something, this is going to keep you in a positive frame of mind to start preparing to launch yourself towards success. This is tool number one. Tool number two is preparing and not to panic in the moment. Now, this is preparing for your launch and not to panic in the moment of launch. So when you think of launching yourself, when you think of getting back to those job interviews, or getting back to career, or launching something that you wanted to do, there would be a lot of thoughts which are crossing your mind. There would be a lot of chatter saying that maybe I'm not good enough, I do not have a right amount of experience, I do not have right contacts, whatever thoughts that are crossing your mind. List all the thoughts that are crossing your mind. Keep listing all these things as you keep progressing. You have identified 3 4 of them, but as you start thinking, as you start working on preparing to launch yourself, there can be a lot more thoughts that can keep crossing your mind. Remember one thing, these are all the beliefs or the fears that are limiting your potential when you're preparing to launch yourself, when you're preparing to launch yourself, appearing for a job interview. These are all the fears that are limiting your potential, and it is better that we prepare for them in advance so that we do not panic in the moment. So once you list down all these thoughts, you would see and realize that some of these thoughts are your own past experiences, because you have experienced them in the past, you strongly believe that it is going to repeat in the same way. And the second thing you're going to see are that some of the thoughts which are not your thoughts, but these are the thoughts which you have heard from others, which are learned thoughts that you read in the books, or which you have, uh, you know, experienced them through someone else's experiences, but not your personal experiences. Categorize these thoughts into both the categories as your own personal experiences or as thoughts from someone else's experiences. Something like, you know, how are people going to see me? Uh, is that your perspective or is it somebody else's perspective? List it down. And once you list them down, for every thought, ask yourself this question, which are basically, this is more with your personal thoughts. Ask yourself, how true is this thought? When you say someone, what is other person going to think of me? Do you even think the other person has got even time to think of you? He would be going through his own life, his own challenges. He doesn't even have time to think of what's happening with you in your life. So you don't have to bother about those thoughts. So think of how true those thoughts are. And once you listed all these thoughts, especially the thoughts which are from your past experiences, I would want you to list all the successful contraries that you have achieved in the past in both professional as well as your personal life against that thought. Listing as many successful contraries as possible. So suppose you're coming across a thought like, I'm not good enough, or I do not have experience to do it. One, in your career, when you started your career, you did not have experience to it, but you navigated through it. So you have to list down all the successful contraries that you have done against the thought that is arising in your mind. When somebody said that you're not good enough, how did you fight that? How did you become successful? How did you reach the level where you are? I would want you to list down all the contraries to the thoughts that are arising in your mind. Remember one thing, you are fantastic. You are amazing. You have faced more significant challenges than this one that is happening in your life. You have successfully surpassed all those events and you are here today. So think of all the contraries, think of all the positives, and list them down. These are your energies, these are your success, these are the ones which have always propelled you towards your positive upward movement. So list them all down. And when you're listing down your past experiences, I would also want you to answer, what have you learned from that? Because sometimes it becomes so strong that, oh, I was laid off once in the past. I would want you to think through as to what have you learned from that, what happened in the past, and how different is this situation compared to the situation in the past, and what will you do differently this time? Because if you are not learning from your past experiences and if you are not evolving yourself from there, then you need to start thinking about it, because that is what is going to help you avoid these pitfalls in the future. I would want you to list down what you have learned from that past experience and how different is this situation from the past, and what will you do differently this time. And if these are the thoughts from others' experiences, others' thoughts, I would want you to note down how different is your situation to the other person's situation. What would you suggest if that other person were in this situation? Can you think of anyone in your network who has maneuvered through this or a similar situation? And if you ask him, what will he suggest to you? Write down these answers. Take out a piece of paper, write down everything that is crossing your mind, list down all the answers that are coming to you. Once you have listed everything to it, now you are the magician of your life. Read all that you have written. Imagine that you have a magic wand in your hand and wave it across all that you have written and ask, what is that one thing that if I do will have a greatest impact on my life? What is that one thing if I do will have greatest impact on my life? And whatever pops out to you from the list that you have written, look at it, write it down, and go about doing it. Whatever pops out at you, please write it down and go and do it. Because that is the one thing that's going to have a greatest impact on your life now and today. The last, but the most important tool of all this is identify an accountability partner. This accountability partner is a person who really cares for you, but at the same time, who can be upfront with you, who can call a spade on your face, and who can tell you that you are not doing this because you are scared of doing it. Identify such person who has got your best interest in the mind and who does not get carried away with your excuses. Identify that person, share everything that you have written with that person, and ask that person to hold you accountable. Ask that person to remind you of everything that you have listed whenever you are in a negative state of mind. Ask that person to remind you of your positives. Ask that person to also hold you accountable for the goals that you have set and you decided to go about achieving. Please remember, this is the most important, and this can be the link that can help you propel in the positive manner. So please identify an accountability partner. Most important of all. So let's just summarize all the tools that you have. How do you want to remember this event 5 years from today? Do you want to remember it as a positive event or a negative event? Do you want even to think of it? Does it even matter for you 5 years from today? Second thing is preparing for not to panic in the moment. This is where you are preparing to think of what are all the thoughts that are crossing your mind, whether positive or negative. But the thoughts of negative as to what kind of thoughts that are crossing, are they from your own experiences? Are they from somebody else's experiences? If they are from my own experiences, what have I learned from them? What am I going to do different this time? And how am I going to go about reminding the contraries that I have done against these self doubts that are arising in my mind, which have helped me to become successful? Prepare those things. Now, use a magic wand, wave it around it, and ask yourself the question as to what is that one thing that if you do today is going to have a greatest impact on your life. And the fifth tool, the most important of all, is identifying an accountability partner and requesting that person to hold you accountable. If you are able to prepare these 5 steps, I'm confident that you will be able to navigate through this event with a very positive perspective. You got this. And thank you so much for taking your time and listening to me. If you find that this content is of not relevance to you, I would want you to share it with someone who you think can benefit from it. Uh, and if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate. My email ID is ram@first108days.com. Please send me whatever doubts and questions that you have. It will always be my pleasure to respond and help you navigate through your challenges. And I will be looking forward to hearing from you all. Thank you so much, and I hope this would be of great help to you.